All right, everyone, welcome. As I said, welcome. It's your first day of service.
Woohoo!
Yep, and that's Eric. You know, I'm Jessica.
I'm Eric Powell.
And we are going to be your host today from VISTA headquarters in D.C. In the chat, you're also going to see our colleagues, Scott Weinrobe and Joanne Lau. And you may also see Kaylee Ramovich in there as well, answering some of your questions. Eric, we're excited for them to start today, aren't we?
We are. We're really excited. And, you know, given that we are coming from Washington, D.C., it would kind of be a great experience to find out where everyone else is serving or where you're located. So as you see on the screen, there's a fabulous map of the great United States of America. We're really excited about that, too. So as Jessica did, you want to use the annotation tool to get a better visual. First, click on the marker icon at the top left corner of the above slide, like you're doing now. And then click on the arrow in the toolbar to activate and click on the map where you're serving as a VISTA member. Looks like most people are getting the hang of it. And as you know, we do have VISTA serving in all 50 states, as well as U.S. territories and tribal communities. So let's see where people are serving.
It's kind of spread out. It's a big kind of spread this time.
I know. Giving props to Andrea and Alma, who looks like they're serving in Alaska. That's pretty awesome.
That's Hawaii.
You serve in Alaska. Oh.
That's Hawaii.
I always get that wrong.
I did serve in Alaska, I think now. But yeah, go for Hawaii. Make friends with them because you'll want to visit.
Yes.
But yeah, it looks like a lot of people. We have one person, Catherine's there in Florida, all by her lonesome, but that's okay. There's a lot of VISTAs in Florida.
There is a good majority of people in the Midwest. And if the annotation tool is not working for you, don't worry about it. This is just a really quick activity to get us to understand where people are and where people think they're going to be serving.
I like that they think they're going to be serving. We sure hope by now they know they should be there. So what are we going to talk about today? So in this webinar, we're going to describe VISTA's mission and the program. So we talked to you last Tuesday. We gave you some background about your specific assignment, but now we're going to dive into what VISTA is all about. We're also going to review a few of VISTA's recent accomplishments, identify support persons and resources, as well as highlight action items that you need to complete today and that really do need your attention. And then last but not least, we're going to administer the oath of service, and that'll officially welcome you into the VISTA family. So Eric, I think we're ready to get started.
Let's go. So as Jessica said earlier, let me officially welcome you to AmeriCorps VISTA. You're about to join a huge national movement with a very rich history. And just to let you know, there's about 152 VISTA members beginning service with you today, so you should know you're not alone. In this month, there's almost 317 VISTA members coming on board. Expanding even more, this year we're going to have over 5,000 VISTA members serving in rural and urban areas in all 50 states and in several territories and tribal nations. Volunteers in Service to America, or VISTA, has been supporting and at times leading the charge towards economic equity for more than 50 years. Our strength comes from the talent, motivation, and energy of our members, soon to be one of you. So let me thank you for stepping up to share your skills and passion to serve our communities. It's truly an honor for me and Jessica to welcome you on behalf of the VISTA program. We hope you feel the warmth and support from us and from your fellow VISTA members. So now, as we're just getting to know one another, let's take a look at a few milestones in VISTA's history that have led us all to this moment.
Thanks, Eric. So the VISTA program was born out of the Civil Rights Movement and the War on Poverty in the mid-'60s, and social equity and economic opportunity remains a key mission of ours. Our first volunteers were assigned in 1965 to Appalachia, Hartford, and the camps of migrant farm workers in California. President Johnson, as you can see on the slide, said to those first VISTAs, "The initials of your organization spell VISTA. It is an appropriate name, for you will be opening up new vistas of hope for the poor, achievement for yourself, and greatness for your nation."
Fast forward about 30 years to 1993, and VISTA joined AmeriCorps, becoming part of a network of national service programs of the Corporation for National and Community Service, or CNCS. You may have heard of some of our grantees and partners, such as Habitat for Humanity, City Year, Teach for America, as well as the Rockefeller Foundation and Service Year. That's in addition to the programs we manage directly, such as NCCC, FEMA Corps, and Senior Corps. In addition to what we're in now, AmeriCorps VISTA.
Which is the greatest. I mean, yeah.
Of course.
No, actually, I said that right. It is the greatest.
It is.
Yep.
We just don't have an acronym for that.
True.
But you are joining the ranks of over 220,000 VISTAs that have served. And just to name a few, we have the fabulous George R.R. Martin, author of Game of Thrones. He served as a VISTA. Senator Jay Rockefeller of West Virginia. Ray Magliacci, you know, the guy of Click and Clack of Car Talk. And Congresswoman Gwen Moore of Wisconsin, just to name a few.
So we know that the VISTA program is committed to economic equity, but if someone were to ask you what VISTA's mission is, how would you explain it? So what makes VISTA unique in the government? What we're showing you on the screen right now is our elevator speech. The VISTA program strengthens organizations that alleviate poverty through the mobilization of volunteers and resources. And in addition to our mission, there are 4 principles that underpin the program. First is ending poverty. Every VISTA project and every VISTA member aims to end or alleviate poverty, one person, one family, or one block at a time. They also go to empowering communities. In contrast to parachuting in and doing some good things for people, VISTA members live among and involve community members in planning and carrying out the project. This is often facilitated by your sponsor, but strengthening and improving the community is our long-term goal through learning about values and beliefs, assumptions, community development principles, and principles of good practice. Then we have sustainable solutions. Whatever you developed, whatever you create, whether it's a process, a system, a resource, we develop them in such a way that people will be able to use them once you're gone. You want to leave something behind that's kind of like a legacy. And last but definitely not least is building capacity. So all VISTA members aim to either increase the size of a project, the number of people served by the project, improve the project's efficiency, or improve the project's impact on the community. And that is how we measure capacity. So let's spend a moment and talk a little bit more about capacity building and what that looks like, because that's kind of a unique term to VISTA a lot. So in the VISTA mission and program goals tutorial that you went through, you learned that the work that you should be doing on your project needs to be focused on building the capacity of your organization, as opposed to doing direct service. This is a unique aspect of VISTA as it relates to all the other AmeriCorps programs. We're a little bit different than the rest. Quickly, capacity building, in essence, is about helping your organization do more with what they have in order to serve more people or operate more efficiently. Direct service is about serving the community in more physical and tangible ways. We're going to play a quick round of this or that to explore the differences between capacity building and direct service. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a service activity, and using your annotation tool that you used earlier, indicate whether you believe the activity is capacity building or direct service. Eric, are you ready? You think you got this? All right, don't cheat. Don't look at the answers first. All right, so first, recruiting volunteers to build houses. Is it capacity building or direct service? All right. Once again, do what your heart tells you. You know, don't fall into peer pressure. All right. Good, okay. Both are leaning on the capacity building side, a few direct service. All right, so the answer is capacity building. You're recruiting volunteers to do that direct service. Once you've recruited them, you're building the capacity of the organization to have those volunteers in the future to help build more houses later. So that's a capacity building activity. Eric, you want to take the next one?
Let's go to the next one, delivering Meals on Wheels. Capacity building or direct service. I see Trudy is quick on the draw. I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly, but see if anyone goes to the other side.
You know, just because we said capacity building on the first one doesn't mean that the second one is definitely capacity.
Some people go right on the line. They're like, I don't know if it's either or, but we will move to the answer, which is, you guys all got it right, direct service. Providing the correct response and brief, it's correct answer.
Yep, delivering Meals on Wheels, that is you being specific, delivering meals directly. If you weren't there, that wouldn't possibly continue. So thank you for that, Eric. Next, teaching a financial literacy course. Ooh, all right. Oh, Trudy, you like switched it up there. You got capacity building, and then you switched to direct service. All right. Got a couple takers.
I like the different colors.
I do too. I wonder how the system does it. Like, all right, that's good. I mean, there is people going towards the middle. I can't tell if you're like, I don't want to, you know, test my odds here. But all right, so the answer is, this is direct service. You're teaching a financial literacy course. So you are doing that direct service. You're teaching that course. Now, if you were teaching trainers a course so that they could go out and then tutor people, that would be different. But because you're doing the direct service of the client, then that's where that leads to direct service. All right, Eric.
How about organizing a fundraiser? Capacity building? Excuse me, capacity building or direct service? Some people seem like they think it's direct service, and I could kind of see why they might think that. So I guess I just gave you the answer.
You just gave the answer.
Well, that's okay. The answer is capacity building, and it's because you're doing the organizing. You're not specifically raising the funds, but you're organizing the group to raise the funds.
All right. Last but not least, setting up partnerships in the community. All right. Everyone's going capacity building, Eric.
Smart people.
What is up with you helping everybody with the answer? Look, Janae is doing her thing in direct service land. I like it. All right. So the answer is capacity building. Setting up partnerships in the community. So you are building the capacity of that organization. So your role as a VISTA, maybe you're reaching out to other organizations to build partnerships of shared services. That's helping build the efficiency of the community and of the organization. So wonderful. You guys did a great job. So once again, as we've gone through this, as we've talked, when we asked you the chat question before we started the webinar, it sounds like a lot of you really are joining VISTA because you really believe in our mission. So if you believe that we have a responsibility to bring an end to poverty, and if you're committed to this work, then you really are in the right place, and it seems like we have a great group here, Eric.
Yes, we're very excited about that.
So as we just talked about, those 4 key principles that guide community development for us, community work requires coordination and even collaboration and working together towards long-range goals. So as you think about those principles that we just covered, we want you to let us know which principle resonates with you and why. So maybe it's ending poverty. In the chat, a lot of you said that you wanted to help bring people out of poverty. Maybe that's really what's driving you in your position. Maybe it's empowering communities. Maybe your passion of yours is working with other community agencies to kind of ensure that stakeholders' needs are identified and putting into action those needs. What about capacity building? Maybe that's exactly what is up in your wheelhouse. It's the heart of what we are. Maybe you see a project and you can identify what exactly they need to do a better job. And last but not least, sustainability. You know, we always think of sustainability in the think like recycling world, but maybe that's what you need at this position. Maybe you want to make some sustainable solutions. So Eric, what are we seeing in there?
It looks like almost everyone said empowering communities and creating sustainable solutions that specifically resonate with them. A few said ending poverty and building capacity. Most were around the second and fourth.
That's great. Yeah, it's always different. It's always a different thing. So that's wonderful. And there's no right answer, no matter the reason that you're here. Your work as a VISTA member will address all of these. So progress in this type of work, it's important to know, is slow and incremental. And it's important to know that your job isn't just about fixing stuff. It's about sharing your perspectives, sharing your skills, and bringing something to that community. The results of your work as a VISTA member may not be apparent immediately or happen overnight, which as someone who likes results, I love to vacuum because I get like the instant result if it looks clean.
True.
As someone who likes instant gratification in that sense, it's a little frustrating, but once you step back, you'll be able to see the larger changes. So let's talk about their VAD, Eric. We're talking about all this VISTA stuff, but then how does that translate to them?
So we want to focus on your specific assignment, which I'm sure many of you have started to look at and are excited about. Some might be nervous. But the best way to do that is through reviewing your VISTA assignment description, or VAD. As you probably know, all VADs include the following 3 elements. One is the project goal, which is related or identical to the goal of your project. Pretty self-explanatory. Next is the objectives, which describe what you will be achieving at the end of your service year. The objectives are a bridge between the project goal and the member activities. And then finally, the actual member activities, which specify what you will be doing this year. Those activities add up to the objectives, and the objectives add up to the goal. Each of you should have your own VAD, no matter how many of you may be serving here or have served at the same project. So as we look at your assignment, because the VAD is your work plan for the year, we strongly recommend that you focus on it with your supervisor for the next few weeks, and that you refer to it throughout the year, because it's a very important document you'll need. There is a worksheet on the starting VISTA page with the coursework that can help you work out the VAD's various elements. It includes you and your supervisor discussing your tasks step by step. Be sure to download the worksheet and be prepared to discuss your assignment description with your supervisor soon, hopefully this week. Set up a meeting with your supervisor immediately if you haven't done so already, because the VAD is the best place to start a conversation about your service year.
So hopefully by now you've had a chance to look at your VAD. And so as you're looking at it, we want to know, what will you be doing as a VISTA member? I know that's like a weird question. You applied for maybe marketing consultant with VISTA or something like that. But you know, the impact that you make this year really depends on you, and it also depends on the community, and sometimes even just good luck. So as you think about this question, let us know. When you look at your VAD, or maybe even just from what you remember, what will you be doing as a VISTA member? It can be a couple of brief words or a sentence. Just let us know. So see, Ray here said writing an estimated 36 grants. Like, I like that that's a very specific number.
Well, it's not 37 and it's not 35, so it's an estimate.
I guess 35 could be an estimate too.
Not according to him.
I don't know if it's him or her. Sorry, Ray.
That's true.
Grant writing is a big one. 3 grants per month. Total of 36.
Nice. Thank you.
Donor development.
Very important.
Let's see. Resource development. Helping build the capacity of tenant associations and eligible projects.
Helping to improve the dropout rate.
Great. Let's see, developing programs and activities for youth in my tribe. Wonderful.
Another, donor development and communications. A lot of people working on fundraising and getting donors.
Mm-hmm. Trauma-informed care for the faith community. That's wonderful. These are great. Community engagement, capacity building, rural, or running social media for the nonprofit. I like the really excited Dan's like, running it for the nonprofit. Like, love it.
Absolutely.
And Adriana, she gave us, is that three things? Tenants' rights. She's doing a lot of stuff with tenants' rights. Great. All right. So, Eric, I have a question. It's going to sound kind of bold, okay? So, a lot of you are saying some really great things. It's some pretty cool stuff, but I just want to take a second to ask you this question. So what? So what? So what if you plan a community meeting? What if you write those 36 grants? What if you recruit those volunteers? What if you help do those tenant rights? What does that mean? So what I mean by this is, if you succeed in your service, what will happen in the community?
It's an excellent question that we're looking for the answer to. Because it not just depends on you, but it also depends on your community, the VISTA project, and a lot of time and good luck. So really, as Jessica said, think about the so what when answering the next question. What impact do you hope to make as a VISTA member? And by impact, we mean what will be the end result rather than what will your activities look like? What will happen as a consequence of your success? Really take a second to think about this overarching goal that your service is working towards as you go into your service year. The work is not always immediately satisfying, but it is important, and keeping the impact in mind will help you get through when times may be tough or you feel like you're not making a difference.
So, Eric, there's a lot of great things coming up. Anna says, my neighborhood will be a place where community members have an unusually large amount of tools to connect. I just lost it because everyone's typing and I like it. To connect with each other and solve local issues.
Better health outcomes for the community, which of course we love people to be healthy, and that's our goal.
Hopefully the Latinx student population will feel more empowered.
My service will hopefully provide a positive change in the opioid epidemic.
Yeah, hopefully there will be a measurable decrease in substance abuse and suicide.
More people in the community will know about our services through the nonprofit and organization.
More youth, K through 12, will have STEM experiences that will help them with the rest of their lives. Great.
Diminished levels of poverty. Dylan, we really, really like to hear that.
And increased numbers of minorities going to college. This is wonderful. So this is something that you're always going to want to keep in your mind of what am I working towards, especially as I mentioned, sometimes it's slow, it's incremental, sometimes it's hard to see the impact that you're making. This is where it's key of like, so what, why am I doing this, why, you know, those tough days, this is kind of what you want to look back on.
Sure.
So let's move and see really what cool things VISTA members do, because you guys are rock stars. We said that the VAT accounts for your service during the year, so we're going to take a look at some of the things that VISTAs have done recently so you can kind of get a sense of what you might be doing. These are measurable, not the intangibles, which are sometimes more interesting, but there's some pretty cool statistics. So in 2017, VISTAs raised $206 million in cash and in-kind donations for their sponsoring organizations. Now, $206 million, that's more than twice what Congress has given the AmeriCorps VISTA program to run the entire program. Double. You guys doubled it. That's wonderful.
Huge.
You also recruited, trained, and assigned 800,000 community volunteers who collectively serve more than 8 million hours, which, Eric, you serve a lot. I'm sure you did about 7, so sorry that they beat you there.
7 hours?
7 million hours. Eric, what are some other ones that we have on here?
The National Center for Children in Poverty estimates about 16 million children in the United States, which is about 1 in 5, live below the poverty line. VISTA members made it possible for their sponsors to serve 3 million of those children in after-school programs, tutoring, and assistance in food security.
Programs supported by VISTA members served 140,000 veterans and military families, and in a single year, about 8,500 VISTAs built the capacity of more than 4,500 nonprofits and public agencies, about 70% of them in their own hometowns, so the most of you stick around in your own communities. Since 1965, more than 220,000 VISTAs have served. You are 145, Eric and I are another 2, Ann, who's in the room with us, is another 3rd, and Allie here, who's our new intern in the room, she's going to be a 4th one right here, so there we go.
Nice.
So these are just some of the incredible impacts that VISTA members like you have made and are making and will make, and I know that 2018 group is going to just knock it out of the park. So let's just review a few things before we move on to the next section. We looked briefly at how VISTA relates to the other national service programs. We then looked at the mission and legacy of VISTA along with its key principles. And then we finally shared with you some impacts of the VISTA members. So now we're going to talk about support during your service. We talked about some of these in the last webinar, but they are important to reiterate. So Eric, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about our lovely websites.
They are lovely, and we'll start with the lovelier of the two, the VISTA Campus, and the second one is my.americorps.gov. So my.americorps.gov is where you apply to your position, where you did your direct deposit, and where you can access your VISTA assignment description. It's also where in a few weeks you will be able to access your living allowance statements, request certain benefits, and print your service letters. We'll talk about these a little bit later. Shifting to the vistacampus.gov website, that's where you completed your onboarding courses and tutorials, but the VISTA Campus has a whole lot more than just the tutorials you completed before today. There are opportunities for ongoing learning and professional development, and you can sign up for courses, find other VISTA members, and also learn more about all of your benefits on the VISTA Campus website. There's too much on the site to explore all of what the campus has to offer, and you've probably already looked at some of it, so we'll briefly talk a little bit about some of the things we think that will help you build skills, obtain professional development opportunities, and more. A quick look at the navigation bar lets you know that there are materials here to help you live as a VISTA as well as work as a VISTA. Here's just a snapshot of what's under the work section. You can also locate and reach out to other VISTA members using the Connect and Learn section. So, in addition to that, we also offer webinars on a range of topics related to life as a VISTA, such as living on the living allowance and using the Siegel AmeriCorps Education Award, since so many VISTAs select that option. We also have webinars on the work, such as building a digital ad campaign and strategizing your funding search. We do record all of these sessions, and offer them as webinars on demand, so if you miss a session, you can always go back to it and watch it at any time. You will receive an invitation in the coming weeks to another webinar called Learning Opportunities for Service and Beyond, which will help you develop a concrete plan for building skills you will need to succeed in your year of service.
Do you think they've caught on to like our Buzz Lightyear Toy Story theme here?
You know, I think so. You count down, then you launch, then you learn.
Beyond, yeah.
I don't know what's next.
This is beyond.
You land.
You land. That's landing a career after VISTA.
Nice. Sweet.
Woo. All right, Eric.
And speaking of careers, we also offer 2 longer courses that could help you in your VISTA service or in your career. One is on both volunteer mobilization, and one is on resource development and grant writing. These courses combine live webinars, online discussion groups, readings, and assignments. These courses are free, and we know VISTAs love the word free, or complimentary if you want to be formal.
Ooh.
And if you pass, you can receive college credit recommendations. The next round of course offerings is slated for the fall, and beware, you do have to apply. Space is limited, but you go to the online courses page on the VISTA campus for more details.
So Eric's talked to you a lot about stuff to look at during your service year, but there are a few things that are some actionable items that you need to do today and like immediately.
Action.
So Action. Hey, that was our original name, Action. We were part of Action.
True.
So the first set of items are related to your VISTA benefits. So first is your direct deposit. If you have any doubt that your bank account's information is correct, whether it's the routing number or the bank identifying codes, for example, then you need to check again. Otherwise, you will not be paid on time. You will receive zip, zero, zilch, and you will have to wait a minimum of another 2 weeks to receive your living allowance. We want to pay you, help us pay you. Second is your end of service benefit. Do you want the stipend that's $1,800, or do you want the education award that's valued at $5,920? Read through the end of service section on the benefits hub and carefully make sure you picked the right option. You have to make that decision today, and if you are unsure right now about what benefit you want, we suggest you select the end of service education award because you have flexibility in changing that up until your 10th month of service. Third is health care. You need to opt for the health care allowance, which is reimburses you for expenses up to $7,350, or the health care benefit plan if you are legally exempt from having to have health insurance. Check AmeriCorps VISTA.imglobal.com in about 2 weeks, by which time you should have been given permission on the site and can opt in for benefits. You're not activated in the site yet, so give it about a week or two, and then you can go in and make your selection. So, first, review the benefits page. Review the living allowance, health care, loan forbearance, the education award or end of service benefit options, child care if that pertains to you, and also take a look at the online courses for credit. Second, read the member handbook. That has a lot of good questions in there for you, a lot of good information. If you have any questions, that's the first place to check. And then last but not least, you can contact the VMSU, which stands for the VISTA Member Support Unit, via the National Service Hotline at the number and email on the screen. Some good stuff there, Eric.
It is, and we list them in that order intentionally because we want you to do the research yourself because only you know your situation best. And then if you really need help, as Jessica said, you can follow the rest of the numbers on the screen. So we have a few other action items that require your immediate attention. First, if you have not yet completed your onboarding paperwork in the portal, My AmeriCorps, then you are on the verge of not entering service today. Don't let that happen. If you haven't accepted the terms of conditions of service, you are definitely not becoming a VISTA today. Second, make sure you know where your VAD is and make a copy of it, and set up a meeting with your supervisor to discuss the project and your service year. Finally, get fingerprinted, preferably this week. We work with your supervisors to make time for that to happen this week, and submit your criminal history questionnaire if applicable. You should have the fingerprinting materials, and if not, get them from your supervisor. Speaking of fingerprints, as we mentioned last week, we will need your fingerprints in order to run a background check. We do this, of course, to protect your community members and volunteers, as well as you. First, remember, you need to get fingerprinted, and it's your responsibility. Second, when you apply to the VISTA position, we ask if you had ever been convicted of a crime. You may not have disclosed everything, not just 10 years back, or because you thought a DUI is a minor traffic violation, or perhaps you were a minor and you thought that it was expunged. If you fail to disclose any conviction in your my.americorps.gov application, fill out the criminal history questionnaire that's included with the fingerprint card and send it in as instructed. When the FBI report comes back, we will compare it to your disclosure in the application and on the form. If everything aligns, you won't hear from us. If there is a conviction you have not disclosed to us, it is grounds for dismissal, and we will have extensive follow-up. Your supervisor has fingerprint cards. Each person gets 2 fingerprinting cards. Make sure you know that. And you'll also have instructions along with it. Again, you are responsible for getting fingerprinted and submitting your fingerprints to us by the deadline. The VISTA program is providing you with an automatic $25 fingerprinting subsidy included in your first living allowance payment. You should also be provided a return UPS envelope, or your project may be able to pay to ship them back to the headquarters. Please get fingerprinted as soon as possible. As you can see on the screen, the deadline for you to submit your fingerprints is Wednesday, July 11th, but please get them in sooner. Failure to submit your fingerprints within this time frame could result in termination from service, and we really don't want that to happen.
Yeah, we don't want to hear about any 4th of July issues getting your fingerprints in. You got enough time after 4th of July to submit it. It wasn't a joke. It was a true thing.
Oh,
you know, holiday, I don't know. Anyways, Eric, this graphic that we're going to show you on this next screen here is what we showed you before, but it is a list of resources that's on the Starting VISTA page. In the coursework that you took earlier, you can search support and keep it where you can find it. You can manage your own support by taking time to navigate vistacampus.gov and myamericorps.gov so that you are familiar with them and know where to go. And when in doubt, contact the VMSU through the National Service Hotline. This is just kind of the way you go through this, so just keep an eye on this and follow up with the appropriate person. Eric, you get to do the fun slides. This is the fun slide.
This is pretty fun, because I like the way that VISTA is demonstrating their excitement for VISTA Service. Because one of the greatest things about being a VISTA member is being part of the wonderful family of AmeriCorps VISTA. And as a VISTA community member, we really want you to show your VISTA pride. You never know where you may make a connection with someone else who knows about the program. Put the AmeriCorps VISTA logo on your business card, in your email signature, and on your organization's website and brochures. The more visible you are, the more support you get for your project and the AmeriCorps VISTA program as a whole. That means more VISTA members in communities doing the work we need to get done. The web links in the chat lead to places you can get AmeriCorps VISTA publications and gear to use in your office and represent VISTA in the field. Don't forget to take pictures and share them with us through Twitter and Facebook accounts, because we might share your story or retweet your photo. You will receive an email with instructions on how to order your free. Yes, I said free.
Wait, did you say free?
Not like Free Willy.
No, but is it free?
Yes.
Is it complimentary?
It is.
But it's not like a gift with purchase.
At no additional charge.
Ooh, I like it.
No charge.
Is there a shipping cost?
No.
All right, totally free. I like it.
I like it.
What do they get for free, Eric?
They get a VISTA Polo.
Ooh.
Rhymes with Rolo, if any of you remember Rolo.
Oh, I like Rolo.
Get a lapel pin. Just don't stick yourself, because it hurts. You get a tote bag to carry anything you want to carry in it.
Like Toto from The Wizard of Oz.
I like it. T-shirt. I don't have any jokes about T-shirts.
Self-explanatory.
Water bottle.
Stay hydrated, y'all.
Make sure you fill it with water.
Done.
And a journal. You'll get all of these items later. You'll get an email later this week once your oath has been submitted and all of your forms and coursework have been completed.
Yeah. No, you have to turn in all your stuff in order to get your cool gear. So, yeah, do that. So now comes the very formal piece, which is the oath of service. The oath of service is an important step in you becoming a VISTA member. Because of the importance of this topic, we are pausing the chat at this time. We're going to be posting instructions in the chat regarding the oath, and we want to make sure that everyone sees the information we're sharing. Once we're done, we'll open the chat back up to comments. If you have any questions at this time, you can still type them in the Q&A panel. So, you are now ready to take the oath of service, and to do this, you need an AmeriCorps VISTA oath form, which your supervisor should have given to you. If you don't have it handy, you can print it from the VISTA campus using the link in the chat, but do this after this session. We're going to give you some key instructions, so we don't want you to run into the printer and then missing the instructions. So the instructions I'm about to give, they may feel a little bit obvious, but you'd kind of be surprised on some of the things that we've seen submitted. So failure to submit this correctly will delay you becoming a VISTA member, delay your pay. We don't want to do that, so please pay close attention. As I said, if you don't have the form printed out right now, please take note of the information we are sharing, and after the session, fill out your oath form. We don't want you to miss these instructions. So the form, like I said, is going to seem obvious, but it needs to be done correctly, so please just follow along. So first name, box 1, first or full name. Type in your full name. If your name in the system is Jordan Brewster, put Jordan Brewster, not put Jordan, I'm awesome Brewster, not who you are in the system. Give the name of the organization that is sponsoring your VISTA project. It's likely the organization where you're serving. So Jordan here is at Keystone Food Bank. In the third box, put the city and state where you are serving. You don't know where you are right now, I cannot help you. But this person is in the Buffy the Vampire series in Sunnydale, California. I hope someone gets that reference. Also, put today's date as your first day of service. It is 6/11/2018. Then, the name of the CNCS official who is administering the oath is going to be me, Jessica Birch. My name is on the screen. I'm not Birch like the tree, I'm the better Birch with the U. So just put that in there. You need this on the form for it to be valid. So as I said, for those of you who don't have this printed oath form out, I recommend taking a picture of this screen so that you can know what to put on your oath after the session. So I'm going to count down to 5, 4, to give you some time to take a picture. 3, 2, 1. All right. Now that the logistics are out of the way, let's consider the oath that you're about to take, because you shouldn't take this lightly. This is the same oath taken by all federal employees, up to and including the Vice President. The President's oath is just a little different. It includes the phrase, to defend the Constitution of the United States. Defend. This is not a call to arms. For some, in some positions, it may be. But for most of us, defense of the Constitution may just be the opposite of using arms. The Constitution is not an administration, not even a flag. Rather, it embodies the principles that elevate us from a loosely organized group on the North American continent to a civil society. We're pledging to defend the document that contains our civil rights. The term against all enemies. Enemies. Let's consider this for a moment, and let's consider us all community builders and as change agents and as simply citizens. Choose our enemies carefully. More often, an enemy is a reflection of ourselves in bad light. We hope to build bridges before we make enemies, and then we will all profit. In the context of VISTA, of course, the enemy is what, Eric?
Poverty.
Exactly, it's poverty. So 2 more things about the oath. First, you may replace the word swear with the word affirm if you so choose. You may also omit the phrase, so help me God. I want to recognize that since we're all in different locations around the country, scattered in so many sites and so many states, that we don't have the benefit of hearing each other's voices as we recite this. But it is cool to know that you're taking the oath with 144 VISTAs at the same time. It may seem awkward to recite the oath aloud when you're alone in a room, but really, you're taking the oath for yourself. So do it for you and make it count. So I'm going to ask you all now to raise your right hand and recite the oath aloud with me. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
Yay! Congratulations. We're really excited. You're the newest class of VISTAs, but don't celebrate too much because there's a few action steps you need to take. So make sure that you sign and date the oath form where it says AmeriCorps VISTA member signature, and then hand it to your supervisor or witness and have them sign it in the witness section, again, putting today's date as June 11th, 2018. A few more instructions. Make sure that once you both have signed it, you signed it and the witness, please scan a copy of your oath and make a PDF, save it to your computer, And don't take a picture of it because those aren't accepted. It has to be PDF documents. And once you scan it, you will send an email to vmsu@cns.gov. That'll be posted on the screen and also at the bottom of the oath form. But you need to make sure that you email vmsu@cns.gov today. And you'll see on the screen that at the bottom of the oath form are the specific instructions for your email signature. The VMSU handles literally all 8,000 VISTAs, so they need to make sure that they get your oath and your email. So make sure the subject line says oath, then your first and last name, and then today's date, June 11th, 2018.
Eric, let's go through one more time.
Okay.
One last one.
So, in summary, again, put today's date as the date entered on duty. List Jessica Birch as the CNCF official. Have your witness sign below your signature, and then email a scanned copy as a PDF in an email to vmsu@cns.gov with the subject line as it shows on the screen, oath, your name, and then today's date, June 11th, 2018.
And make sure to do that by the end of the day. All right. So now we are going to take some questions. We know that there's some questions that came in through Q&A and that people may want to ask a question over the phone. But before we do that, we do have a quick evaluation on the right side of your screen. We want to hear your feedback. We want to know what you loved, what you hated, what you want more of. So we really take to heart what you put in these evaluations. So please take a couple of minutes to do them. It's on the right-hand side of the screen. I think it's about 7 to 10 questions. Please do it. We want to improve these webinars for you all. So as you go ahead and do that, I'm going to invite our operator, Karen, on the phone, and she is going to let us know how to ask a question over the phone. Karen, are you there?
Yes, thank you so much, Jessica. If you would like to ask a question over the phone lines at this time, please press star, then 1, and record your first and last name clearly when prompted. Once again, please press star, then 1 if you'd like to ask a question over the phone lines at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. So as we wait for questions to come in over the phone, we're going to go ahead and take some questions that came in the Q&A. Eric, do you have any of them queued up?
Sure. So one of them is not specifically related to this webinar, but we'll answer it quickly. Is the term disadvantaged youth still applicable as opposed to opportunity youth? So I guess the quick answer is the VISTA program at different times has used both terms. Part of it does depend on your project in your community. Some communities are less keen on certain phrasing. So if it is a word that you're using with your project or might be using, I would definitely ask your supervisor what the culture of your organization is and what's acceptable, not just in relation to youth, but also in relation to all the other things you do, because you want to make sure that you're not doing anything to upset or disrespect the culture where you're entering.
Thank you, Eric. Another question came in and says, what is the total amount of an AmeriCorps member can receive in education awards? They said, I was a state AmeriCorps member and received almost $5,000 in the education award already. Am I still eligible for the current award amount? So the answer is yes. So the maximum education awards that a person can receive in their lifetime is 2 full-time education awards. So if you received a full-time education award for your AmeriCorps State National Service, and then you do VISTA, you receive the full term of this one. That's the maximum you can receive in your lifetime. So yes, you are eligible to receive that.
So the next question is about people who might have a name change. In this case, it's a really exciting reason, getting married. Congratulations. So if you do have any name change or any change to all that really important stuff in your My AmeriCorps account, you need to contact the National Service Hotline. They'll post their phone number in the chat, and they'll be able to tell you what documents that you need to make sure that they can legally change the name in our system to make sure it matches for your education award and all the other things. But definitely contact the National Service Hotline.
Thank you, Eric.
Really quick, sorry.
Yes.
If you are changing your name, when you send in your fingerprints, please put whatever your former name is in the alias section.
Thank you, Anne. So if you're changing your name from Eric Powell to Eric Birch because you want to take my last name and we're getting married, you didn't know, make sure to put Eric Powell as your alias. Wonderful. someone here asked, where are the fingerprints sent? So that's a great question. The instructions that you'll get, the fingerprint kit that you'll get from your supervisor, has all of that information. It comes to VISTA headquarters here in DC, so that information is in the packet. It's also on the return label. So you should have all of that, and if you don't, you should talk to your supervisor about that.
The next question is great about VISTA gear. Yes, you will get a free VISTA polo shirt as well as the other items we mentioned. But you do have the option of ordering polos or other gear that are on our, what we call our PUBS website, National Service Publications. So that information should have already been posted in the chat, and we'll get that out to you. But you and your project have the ability to order additional VISTA gear as much as you'd like.
Yeah, and so the first one that you get, the first email that I'll send you later this week, that's for your free one. If you want to purchase additional gear, you go to our nationalservicegear.org to purchase additional polos. There was a question about forbearance and where you put your loan into forbearance. So if you want to put your loan through forbearance, you would do that through your my.americorps.gov account. You'll have access to do that in about a week. If you're going to put your loans in deferment, you're going to do that directly with your lender. More information can be found on the VISTA campus about that, but you'll see that ability in about a week from now.
So before we take a few more questions in the Q&A, Karen, do you have any questions queued up in the phone?
No, we do not have any questions at this time, but as a reminder, please press star, then 1 if you'd like to ask a question. Thank you.
So the next question is, where can I find my VAD? If you log into your my.americorps.gov website, right there on the home page, you should see your VAD show up. If it doesn't, there's a few people that sometimes it doesn't. You can contact your state office, and that you just email them at the 2-letter state abbreviation. So, for example, if you're serving in Florida, it would be fl@cns.gov. So just email your state office if you don't see it. You can also, and probably actually your first step should be to contact your supervisor since they're at their site with you, and they should be able to at least email you your VAD so you have a copy of it.
Another question came in. It says, is the name of my project under sponsor service terms or site location history? The best place to look for that is sponsor service terms. If you're looking for your oath, either one is going to be okay, but you would look under the sponsor service terms is where you should look.
The next question is about student loans and loan forgiveness. So this is related to Perkins loans. I'll quickly say, through CNCS, AmeriCorps VISTA, the National Service Trust, we can put your loans into federal forbearance as long as you have federal student loans. You would request it to be in forbearance through your My AmeriCorps website. At the end of your service, you can request that the National Service Trust pays off the interest that you accrued during your year of service. And then, of course, through many loans, and I can check later to see if Perkins are included in this, there are other options outside of the AmeriCorps VISTA program that you might want to involve yourself in, like the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program called PSLF, and we can give you more details on that later. But I believe that there definitely are options for either loan forgiveness or at least getting smaller loans through the Perkins Loans program.
Thank you, Eric. Another question quickly about the education award. I apologize if I was a little confusing there. So some other questions like, what's the total amount someone can get out of their education award? So unfortunately, I do not have a maximum amount. And the reason I say that is because it's different for each person. So Eric, you served in 2008. Eric served in 2008, and his education award may have been $5,000.
It was a lot less.
Right. So it might have been $5,000. But say, for example, he now wants to serve in 2018 when the education award is valued at $5,920. He is eligible to get both of those. So his maximum amount is $10,920. But if I serve in 2018 and it's $5,920, then I serve again in 2019 and it's the same amount, my maximum is more than Eric's, but it's still 2 full-time education awards. So there's not an amount I can give you, but it's just the full-time. So just because Eric served 10 years ago doesn't mean like, hey, can I get another 900 because I only got 5,000 last time. It's the equivalent of 2 full-time. So hopefully that answers the question. Any questions over the phone, Karen?
No, there are no questions over the phone lines at this time, but as a reminder, please press star, then 1 if you'd like to ask a question.
Wonderful, thank you. Someone here had a question, can you sign and fill the oath form electronically? So you can fill out the oath form electronically, but you have to sign it with a pen. So you can definitely type it in, print it, sign it, scan it back in, but you can't use like an electronic signature.
So I see another question here, if I can scroll down. It says, some concern about the VISTA interaction between supervisors and site supervisors working for an organization but at a different site. So there are some VISTA projects that, without going into too much detail, we call them an intermediary. So you at your site would have one supervisor, but you would also have direct communication with a secondary supervisor. And because of the way the VISTA program works, sometimes in that case, you need to first find out who your direct on-site supervisor is. Every VISTA needs to have an on-site supervisor, and that person should also be able to tell you if you're also supposed to report to what we'll call the secondary or the intermediary supervisor, or if you just have that one person. So check with your supervisor. If they don't know, then I would immediately email your state office because they would at least have it on record to be able to give you that specific detail.
All right, I'm going to go back to Karen. Karen, any questions over the phone?
At this time, we still have no questions in queue, but as a reminder, star then 1 if you'd like to ask a question.
Wonderful. So Eric, are you seeing any other questions in there?
I don't. I think I'm just scrolling back through.
Yeah. I think we've got them.
So we do have one question online now.
Oh, wonderful.
All right, one moment. One question, one moment, please. Thank you. Your line is now open if you'd like to ask a question.
Hello?
Okay. Yes.
Hi there.
So, my name is Darek Lewandowski. You guys said about the forbearance versus deferment. I understand that if I schedule education awards at the end of service, end of service scholarship instead of education award, I will only be eligible for the loan deferment, not the forbearance, and there is no exception to this. And I cannot, I am not eligible for the award anymore, the Seagull Award, because I served like 3 times. So I don't know if I am clear on this or not. Would you please elaborate on this? And also we heard something about free gear. We ordered the gear, the AmeriCorps gears for our site. So I just wonder if there is anything that we get free, because my supervisor is asking. She is with me and she overheard something. So can you clarify those two? Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So to your first question, so in order to be able to put your loan in national service forbearance, you have to have selected the education award. There's no way to do it without it. If you select the cash stipend, you can only put your loan in deferment. Now, you said that you served 3 times, so you've already maxed out the education award. What some people decide to do is to take a $0 dollar education award. Sometimes people say, well, my interest is going to accrue at such a rate that it's better for me to do the cash, or to do the $0 value education award and get the trust to pay off my interest than to get the cash stipend. So, for example, the cash stipend is $1,800. Say, for example, you know on your loans over the course of your service term, the interest that is going to accrue is going to be $2,000. You may determine that, hey, I'm not going to get an education award. I'm not going to get the $5,000, but the interest that it's going to get paid off because I can put my loan in forbearance is going to be more than the cash stipend. So you do have the option to do a $0 value education award. You can select the education award. You won't get one, but then if you wanted to put your loan in forbearance and get the trust to pay the interest, you could do that. But that really depends on, your specific loans, your specific situation, all of that. So you need to do some research about that. Otherwise, if you select the cash stipend, then yes, you could put your loan in deferment through your lender. There's not a way that you can put it in national service forbearance. with regard to your question about gear, you're going to get an email late this week, early next week, that's going to give you instructions on how to order those 6 items Eric talked about: shirt, polo, lapel pin, water bottle, journal, tote bag. They're all free to you. They're free to you. They're shipped for free to you. It doesn't charge you anything. So each VISTA member starting gets that as long as they place an order. So if your supervisor has questions about that, you're going to get that. You're going to get the instructions in about a week. So hopefully that answers your questions. All right, Karen, are there any other questions over the phone?
Thank you. There are no further questions.
Wonderful. Eric, there's one last question I'm going to give you here.
Go for it.
Are there a limit to how many terms or times you can do VISTA?
There is, and the number is 5. You can serve as a VISTA up to 5, essentially up to 5 terms of service, which, you know, some people wonder why it's not more, but really the idea of VISTA, which is kind of counterintuitive, is you want to kind of work yourself out of a job in the sense that you as a VISTA, your goal is to build the capacity and build the scale, reach, and efficiency of an organization so that it's so efficient and they're doing so well that they don't really need a VISTA anymore because they started enhancing their work and building their capacity. But the limit is 5.
Thank you, Eric. So it looks like we've answered all the questions, and guess what? It's like getting out of class early. We're done a half hour early. You all are so lucky, and you're so happy, and you love us, and you're going to tell us that in our evaluation. But Eric, actually, hold on. I spoke too soon, Eric.
2 final questions.
There's 2 final questions.
One of them, and yes. Jessica, I know you know the answer to this one. Do we have to wait a week to opt into health care?
So that's a large question.
Yes.
So you have to, so in about a week from now, you'll have the ability to select either the health care allowance or the health benefit plan on the IMG website. Now, if you do not have health insurance and you need to start looking for health insurance, you can start that process now on healthcare.gov. But you won't be able to access like the signing up of our system until about a week from now, and you'll get an email once it's available to you. Now, please note that although you don't have access for about a week, if, for example, you have to go to the doctor tomorrow and you had a copay, you're covered from your first day of service. It's just you won't have access to do the thing in the system yet. So just keep an eye out for that email.
So the final question is, does the interest get paid on all student loans if the education award is chosen and the loans are put in forbearance? So as long as you put your loans in forbearance and that's approved, then yes, the interest will get paid, but you would have to go into your My AmeriCorps account at the end of your service and request the interest be paid. But yes, we do pay the interest on federal student loans while you're in service.
Wonderful. All right. Now I'm gonna turn it over to you, Eric, to give us some great final words.
Before I give the final word, remember, submit your oath. Otherwise you can't get paid.
Submit your oath, yes. Sign it and submit it, yes.
Yes. Signed, sealed, delivered.
I'm yours.
Yep.
I'm VISTA. So leave it with Lyndon here.
Yes. So again, we want to thank you for your participation today. We really, really appreciate you being here and being part of our great program. So again, welcome to VISTA, and we wish you much success and leave you with this quote from Lyndon Johnson. On your idealism and on your success rests much of our hope for the final elimination of poverty in our American life. Have a great first day of service, a great year, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, everyone.